Welcome back to the best damn training channel on YouTube. Today is the last day of training before we get into our final heavy session for the Strictly Strength program, where we're gonna max out on the squat, bench, and deadlift. The plan for today is we're gonna build up to like 7 RPE on some top end sets on the bench press, on the squat, and then we're gonna do a couple heavy-ish reps on the deadlift. I don't know if I'm gonna quite go up to like a 7 or an 8 RPE on the deadlift, but we're doing all 3 of the main lifts that I'm gonna be maxing out on Friday to give myself a feeling on what it's gonna be like to go from the squat to the bench press to the deadlift and hit some numbers on those so I can kind of prepare myself for Friday as I'm building up to the max. So a few things I'm gonna do is focus on warming up the same way that I'm gonna warm up as I'm going into my max out session. So I'm gonna probably make the same amount of jumps that I would make, building up to what I would consider like my first attempt at what a max out rep would be. I'm gonna be putting on the same equipment that I'm gonna be doing. I'm going to go through the motions, ideally as close as possible as if I'm going through a full max out session. On the squat, what I'm gonna be doing is building up to a 1 rep at 7 RPE, and then I'm gonna do a couple doubles after that and do some drop sets just to kind of move some lighter loads really fast, keep things moving pretty smooth. So my jumps that I plan on doing is gonna be 70, and then we'll go to 120, then we're gonna go to 170, and then 200. And that's ideally what I would like to do as I'm building up for a max. On Friday, the idea that I have is I'll go 70, 120, 170, 200, and then probably go something like 220, 230, or 240, depending on how that 220 felt, and then try to get up to about 240 to 250 for my top end number on that. That's kind of the range that I have. If more is there, I'm gonna go for it. But if I can hit 240 to 250 for a 1 rep max on the back squat, then I'm gonna be pretty damn happy with that number there. So the plan is at 70 kilos, I'm gonna do 3. We'll put on 120, so I'll put another 25 on each side here. And at 120, I'll do another 3 here. And then when I jump up to 170, I'm gonna do a double. 200, I'm gonna do everything from singles on that point. So once we get to 200, we'll hit a single, probably stop around 200 today, but on Friday, it would be 200, 220, 240, and we're gonna just be hitting singles as we get up to that 240 number for that. And that moved pretty damn good. So we'll go up to 200 right here. 200 is gonna be a single. 7 RPE, I hate to put percentages on RPE. They're not the same thing. Like a 7 RPE, a 7 out of 10. What do you rate your perceived exertion on that set? But 200 is about 80% of what the top end single that I think I would be able to get, which would be 250. So as long as I can hit that 80% range, that's gonna be okay. If I hit 200 here, and knowing that that's 80% of 250, and it doesn't feel like it's a 7 RPE, I'm gonna go off the RPE versus going off the percentage. That means that maybe 250 is a little bit conservative based on where I'm at, that I might be able to hit something a little bit heavier on that. So I don't have an exact 1 rep max that I've been working on for this entire program. I've just been going off of RPE because I don't know what my 1 rep max on a back squat is. I haven't done a traditional 1 rep max on a back squat in years. I've done some triples, I've done some heavy doubles, but I've never truly done a 1 rep max. I would say probably in a solid 6 years or so. So RPE for me allows me to work with relative intensity, not knowing what a true 1 rep max might be, and allows me to kind of progress things based off of that. I'm thinking 250, but we're gonna base our jumps and our working sets off of the RPE, if that makes any sense at all. I think I'm gonna go 210. 200 felt good. I'm gonna go 210. Felt like it moved a little too fast to be like a true 7 RPE. So we'll throw some fives on. All right, so I got the 5 kilos on. We got 210 kilos here. I also weighed myself again this morning. I've been tracking the weight a little bit, and I'm still floating at like 96.9 to 97.1. So I think I'm just gonna be a little bit light when it comes to what I anticipated myself to be at during the max out session. I thought ideally I'd be like 98 kilos, but I still feel really good. I still feel like I'm strong. So being 97 versus 98 isn't going to be a huge difference. In pounds, I think that puts me at like, I think 97 kilos is like 213 or 214 pounds. 200, I don't know, somewhere around there, right around 215-ish. Let's say I hit 250 as the top number at 97 kilos. That's a pretty damn good squat in terms of relative strength. That moved very smooth. I'm very happy with that. We're gonna call that top set today. 7 RPE, 210. Gonna take off 15%, which should be right around 180 kilos. And gonna do probably 3 doubles just to kind of move some lighter weight fast, get a little bit more training in, not too much where we're gonna be fatigued, and then we'll move on to the bench press. So overall back squats felt pretty damn good. 210 moves smooth, gives me confidence that at least a 240 on Friday is gonna be there. I think the top end 250 is gonna be there as well. I'm gonna load myself up with a very heavy, hearty breakfast and then caffeinate the shit out of myself to try to just get as good of a feeling as I can coming into that session on Friday. But I'm curious to think, drop a comment, let me know, what do you guys think I'm gonna hit on a back squat come Friday? Because I think 240 to 250 is realistic. I know the bar speed at what it looks and like when I'm telling you something is at 7 RPE might be way off. Maybe that 210 that I'm saying felt like a 7 RPE, the bar speed makes it look like it's a 6, or maybe it looked like it was an 8, anything like that. But I'm just curious to know what you guys might be thinking that a top end 1 rep max on a back squat will be. But moving on to the bench press now, essentially, what I'm gonna be doing is the exact same thing. We're gonna build up to a top single around a 7 RPE, and then we're gonna do some drop sets and do some doubles, probably do 3 doubles again. The bench press for me is a bit of an iffy because I haven't hit bench press as hard as I'd like to over the past few weeks when I was traveling. So I was still able to do my sprint sessions. I got some decent lower bodies training sessions in. The bench press was the one thing that was kind of hit and miss. Like those were the sessions I was kind of throwing away and jumping in with other people and doing some other stuff. So I'm not sure where the bench press is gonna be at today. A 7 RPE for a single, for me, generally is gonna put me at like 150 to 160. Like I said, I've been neglecting it a little bit, you can say. So if this number is down slightly, then I wouldn't be too surprised. Also, for everybody who dropped a comment yesterday, give me some ideas on Apex and events and some things that you would like to see. I really appreciate that. I've got a lot to think about with that. I'm gonna talk with Tim about trying to nail down how many total events we wanna do, where we want those events to be, and then figure out some sort of a scoring system for it. But we got 70 kilos on the bar right here. Probably gonna do, honestly, probably do a set of 5 here. Get a little bit more warm-up volume on the upper body. Oh, I just hit my head on the damn bar. That didn't feel too great. We'll go to 100 kilos. All right, we're gonna go to 120. Snyder head on the bar again. We're gonna go to 120, hit a double. After 120, we'll just start hitting singles. Okay, 150 just moved a lot smoother than I thought it was. That was butter. Well, we'll go 160. If 160 moves like that, then I think like a 170 might be a 7 RP. That moved very smoothly. That's surprising. I was imagining that to be a little bit more of a struggle. I'm anticipating my 1 rep max to be like 180. So like a 7 RPE for a single would be around that 150 mark, but that felt really good. I'm gonna do 160. If 160 moves like that, then we might be in for something special on Friday. That also felt incredibly easy. Damn. Well, I guess I'm gonna do 170. This is surprising since I haven't really hit bench press the way that I originally planned to hit bench press. But I mean, if it's there, it's there. Let's go, I'll go 170 and hit that as my top single today. If 170 moves smooth like that again, then I think like a 185 to 190 might be the top end number on Friday, which would be pretty legit because I was expecting 180. But even that didn't feel like a true 7 RPE. Like for me on bench press, 7 RPE, bench press is one of those lifts that I can grind through. So even if it looks, like if it feels smooth all the way to the top, there's no like push and grind through that, then like my RPE rating on that is a little bit different because I know I can get really grindy on that versus something like a back squat. Like those are always going to look smooth and fast. I don't have that same ability to like hit a sticking point and really push through that without kind of just draining myself and dropping the bar. But on a bench press, I can get grindy on these and I can really fight against that and still get some good weights moving with those grindy reps. So the fact that 160 moved that smoothly, I think 170 is gonna be there today. So I'm gonna hit 170 on my next attempt. Regardless of how that feels, whether it's grindy or not, we're gonna keep that at my top set. If it's super grindy, then I'll probably take about 20% off and do my back off sets at a little bit lower of a percentage. But if it's really smooth like that 160 is and there's no like real sticking points, then I'll just take that 15% off and we'll do our back off sets originally as planned. Whew, that was buttery smooth. I have a feeling 185 is gonna be there on Friday. That's gonna be the number that I'm going for. Because that didn't really feel like it got sticky at all. That felt like I could still do possibly another rep there, which is insane to say at 170. Like doing a double on that when I haven't really bench pressed hard for the last few weeks. So I'm liking where this is at right now, and it's giving me a lot of confidence for Friday. I'm digging this. But I'm gonna take off 15% here. Gonna do the same thing, 3 doubles, and then the deadlift session that I'm gonna do is gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna just hit some doubles at some heavier numbers, like an RPE 7 to 8 on that. That's gonna be kind of like my last heavy thing to do. And then the next 2 days, tomorrow is gonna be Wednesday. It's gonna be a full recovery day. I'm gonna rest, not gonna do anything. Thursday, I'm gonna get out to the track, do a little bit of easy sprinting, do maybe 1 rep at most on a flying max velocity type sprint. And then we're gonna shut it down. No jumps, no additional stuff. We're just using that Thursday to kind of excite the system, get everything warmed up, get something firing real fast, shut it back down. And then Friday is gonna be squat, bench, dead, max out session before taking the rest of the weekend off and starting a new program starting next week. I had some questions about this program. Strictly Strength will be coming out in about 3 weeks on Train Heroic. As I get the specific date locked in and get everything loaded into Train Heroic, I'll do like a 2-week announcement and let people know that it's gonna be releasing on that. But essentially everything you guys have seen here on the channel for the last 12 weeks is going to be the Strictly Strength program. I'm taking out all of the Olympic lifting and all of the sprinting and all of the plyo. So essentially it's just going to be a strength program, which is why it's called Strictly Strength. Give people a program for those that don't necessarily want to sprint, that don't necessarily want to do the Olympic lifts, but still want to follow a program that I do because they like the style in which I train, they like the progressions that I use and that kind of stuff. So this is a program that would be essentially for those that go to a gym and they just want to lift weight. They don't care about the athletic side of things. They don't care about trying to sprint and jump and do all that kind of stuff. They just want to lift heavy loads. So Strictly Strength is going to be the program for you guys, and that will be dropping next month at some point in time. And I'll make sure to give you guys a good enough heads up for the launch date on Strictly Strength. But I'm going to go ahead and drop the weight down, get in some doubles, and then we'll move on to the deadlift. Last thing for the day, we're gonna do some doubles on a deadlift. Now, my goal for the deadlift is to beat my back squat. So whatever I end up back squatting, I wanna be able to beat that on the deadlift, and that's gonna put me at a solid deadlift number. I don't have any specific range that I wanna be at today. I'm just gonna feel this out, do some doubles at like a 7, possibly an 8 RPE. The last weightlifting session before we max out will be complete. And for those that are wondering, yes, I will be using straps today and when I max out, because I don't give a shit about the grip. I just want to try to lift as much as I can lift on Friday. So we'll be using the lifting straps when we max out the deadlift on Friday. So I'm going to just start doing some doubles, throwing the reds on, loading this up, and we'll see what that top end number is today. I like that. 225 feels good. I think I'm gonna do one more, maybe 2 more doubles at 225, and then that's gonna be it for today's session. So let me know what you guys think. What do you think I'm gonna hit on squat? What do you think I'm gonna hit on bench? Let me know what you think I'm gonna hit on the deadlift. And I'm curious to see myself what those numbers are gonna be. But I feel really good today, and I have a feeling that Friday is gonna be a really good day as well. So I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.